Hello everyone, today we're going to download the best beginner-friendly Linux distro in the world, which is Zorin OS. Zorin OS is perfect for beginners. It's easy, it's simple, and it's familiar. It has multiple desktop environments for users of Mac, Windows, and stuff like that. So you're in a familiar place, but Linux and faster and better. So let's get started. We first go to the Zorin OS website. The site is filled with information about the operating system. Here it says it makes our computer more easier, secure, and powerful to use, as well as more reliable. It is an alternative to Windows and Mac OS. It has a ton of great reviews from what I have read. From here, from Reddit and other places. The desktop environment, there's multiple ones. Some like Windows, some like Mac, some like other Linux distros. So wherever you come from, it's going to be easier for you to adapt. It is great for reviving old desktops. It's way faster. And yeah, it's great. So we press the download button. Here you can see the Pro option, which you have to pay for. But you can just go with the free version. The Pro version is if you wish to support the developer of the operating system. Press skip download. And now the download should start. While this is downloading, we're going to need another tool. It is called Ventoy. Ventoy is a bootable USB drive creator, which basically turns your normal USB that's lying around into a tool that is used to change your operating system. Anyways, we search up Ventoy, go to downloads, and download the windows.zip file. At least that version, I guess. Press accept, and now we press download latest version. The download should start shortly. And as you can see, the download has started. And we're back. The files have finished downloading, and we have to extract the Ventoy file. To do that, just right click and then press extract here. Now we open the folder and we select this exe file. Once it's done installing, you should see a UI that looks like this. On the devices part, you have to press refresh and select your USB drive, and then press install to make your USB drive bootable. After that's done, we go to the ISO file that we downloaded, and then we drag and drop it to our USB. Or copy paste if you prefer that. But because I have already made the bootable drive for Zorin OS, I'll just use another ISO as an example. So in this example, I'm going to use FIDE OS ISO file, but you can be using the Zorin OS ISO file that we have downloaded in the beginning. After that's done, we turn off our PC and we reboot our PC while pressing escape and then choosing boot menu. Then we select boot from USB, and then it's going to show us this menu where we have to choose Zorin OS. Then we press boot in normal mode, and then we select the first option. After which it will start scanning the operating system to make sure everything is okay. You can skip this process if you're in a hurry because it takes quite a while, but I don't really recommend it. But if you're too impatient, I guess you could skip it with Control C. As you can see, it finished booting. It has a beautiful wallpaper over here. Anyways, the operating system hasn't been installed yet. This is just like a preview. As you can see, the installer has started. We have two options, either to try it out or install it. I recommend you try and mess around with it a bit before you install it. But for the tutorial's sake, I'm just going to show you how to install it. We press install. We select our language, keyboard layout. Now we connect to the Wi-Fi, but it's not mandatory. I'm just going to skip it because connecting to the Wi-Fi makes it take longer. But if you want all the updates and extra apps to come pre-installed, you should connect it and then press continue. Anyways, now you can select whether you wish to update your software with the installation or not, for which you're going to need to connect it to the Wi-Fi. Now we select if we're going to install only Zorin OS or dual boot it with Windows. But as the main goal of the video is to find a Linux distro to replace Windows, we're just going to download only Zorin this time. We press next and then install now. And it should start installing. Press continue. Now you select your region. I live in Athens, so I'm going to select Athens here. Press continue. Oh, and we have to set up a local account before anything else. I'm just going to type in my name and my password. By the way, don't forget your password. It is very important on Linux-based operating systems. Also, I recommend you select the require my password to log in option, but I'm just going to select the login automatically option for convenience's sake. But the require my password to log in is safer. I just realized how hypocritical I'm being. Anyways, it's now installing. I'm back and it appears that the installation has been completed. All we have to do now is to restart the computer. So just press this tiny button and it should start back right up. Now we have to remove the USB drive and press enter. When booting into Zorin OS, it gives us the option to boot in normal mode and a few other modes. And we don't have to do anything, or you can just press enter while booting to make it go faster a bit. It's now finalizing the installation. And it's done, I think. Yep, it's done. Now there should be a little tutorial guide popping up here, as you can see. I'm just going to skip it and do some setting up. And we're back. As you can see, I set up a screen. Actually, no. I installed a few apps I need or like, and I messed around a bit and found some interesting settings. And I also found out that it has a built-in screen recorder. There's a ton of pre-installed apps, with a default browser being Firefox. Now let's go through some of the settings. In the top, we have the basic computer stuff, internet, backgrounds, etc. The notification settings, the search bar settings, which we can customize, which I like very much, because it was very annoying in Windows because it kept showing stuff I didn't care about. In the applications tab, we have all the applications, their permissions, etc. Kind of like Android. In privacy, we can control our internet connectivity, location service, file history, screen, and something called Thunderbolt, which I'm not sure what it is. You should read through the settings before changing anything. There's also the option to connect your online accounts, including Google, Microsoft, Flickr, stuff like that. There's a sharing option which can let you share stuff with devices connected to your internet. Then we have many other stuff. Oh, in the display settings, if you're on a laptop, I advise you turn on fractal scaling so your screen stops looking funky. There's user options just like Windows where you can have more than one. Here you can choose, and in the default application section, you can change the defaults for everything, etc. Date and time, obvious. And in the about section, you can see stuff like your processor, your operating system version, and stuff like that. Now we have the App Store, which is the best Linux App Store in my opinion, because this has both snapped, Flatpaks, and well, a ton of other stuff. Here we have the editor's choices, which is basically recommendations and stuff. Anyways, let me give an example of installing something. Let's go with GIMP, which is a photo editing app. There's the install button over here, but as we can see, from the drop down, we can select which version we want, FlatHub, Snap Store, etc. This is basically the exe files slash apk. We just decide which version we want. I recommend FlatHub in normal cases, but because this is Zorin OS and we're downloading, well, an app, and so the Zorin OS version should be the best option since it's the official version for this operating system. Anyways, another great thing about this operating system is the desktop environments, as I mentioned before. You can change it with a press of a button. The four you come pre-installed with are Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. You can install more, or you can just buy the Pro version, which has many more desktop environments. I'm just going to go back to the normal desktop environment because, well, I'm more comfortable with it. Anyways, just like Windows, we can choose themes. There's dark mode, there's bright mode, and other stuff. We could also change the app icons and stuff. We can edit the animations. Let me just turn them off because I don't really like animations that much. We can choose the side of the button thingies, depending, so Mac users can have what they're used to and stuff. Now we have the taskbar settings. For example, its style, if it's on the bottom, top, left, or right, or how it behaves and stuff. Let me just. Anyways, we have some desktop settings here to change icon size and stuff. There's fonts. We're not going to really mess with them much. Here you can see we have shortcuts to files. Here we have all our apps grouped and we can open all of them right there. Anyways, to update Zorin OS or the software on it, we can go to software updater. Now we're going to let it scan for a bit to check for updates. And if there's any updates available, it's going to give you the option to install or do it later. But because I updated it like a few minutes ago before recording, it's saying that there's no updates. Anyways, Zorin OS also comes pre-installed with Zorin Connect. It is basically the Windows equivalent of Microsoft Phone. This lets you connect to your phone, share your clipboard, share files. It lets you control your PC from your phone. It allows you to shut down or lock your PC in case it gets stolen. It lets you use your phone as a mouse pad and other stuff. Sorry, no, not mouse pad, touchpad. It also has other stuff you can do. I haven't explored it all yet. This next feature isn't only on Zorin OS, it's on almost every Linux distro. It is related to gaming. You see, most people don't like using Linux because of the gaming compatibility, but Steam is solving that problem. If we one moment, let's close this. Anyways, if we go to the top corner and select settings on the drop down, then we go to compatibility settings, and then you can see two toggles. If we turn them on, it's going to let you play most Windows games on Linux. But after toggling them on, you have to choose a version of Proton. I recommend the latest stable version, which is 902. Anyways, now you can play most Windows games on Linux. Unfortunately, you can't play a few multiplayer games and a few games with anti-cheat. Let me show you an example of the compatibility. Let's try Paper Lily Chapter 1. Very underrated game, by the way. Let's install it. As you can see, it's launching. I'm going to speed this part up so I don't spoil the game or I don't bore you to death. But if you're interested, you can check this out on Steam, or I will leave a link in the description which you can use to see the gameplay, to see the performance. Anyways, games aren't the only thing that are compatible on Zorin OS. Most, if not all, Windows apps or exe files can be run on Zorin OS thanks to the Windows compatibility layer that comes pre-installed. Let me show you an example of Windows apps running on Linux. As you guys can see, this is an exe file, which means it is a Windows app or executable. We're going to download that. We're going to close this ad. And it's downloading. It has finished downloading. Now let's open the app, or .exe file, I guess, whatever we're going to call it. Let's run it. Run anyways. And as you can see, we have Rufus running on Linux. If you see, the app works pretty fine. It's almost at 100%. The only problem I could find is that the close button isn't working, but we could always just use the X button on top. So yeah, this is pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helped. Goodbye.